Okay, great. We should now be live for people online as well. So we're just waiting for that to start before we started the session. But it's great to see people in the room too. Thanks for joining us. I'm Jessica Ganawa and I'm a lecturer here in the government group, which includes politics, policy and international relations. So we're going to start out the session with showing a video from the Vice President, Executive Dean of the College, and also some of the most important people that you need to know from the college, who are our enrolment advisors. So we'll start out with that and then we'll jump into introductions and more information about your courses.
And I'm the Vice President and Executive Dean of the College of Business, Government and Law at Flinders University. The college includes all the business disciplines. It includes international relations and politics. It includes all the law degrees, and it includes criminology. So if you're studying one of those degrees, you're part of the College of Business, Government and Law. The college is partly about education, but it's about more than that too. So we have our teaching parts of the college, but we also have some research centres, and our teachers and our researchers often work together on large projects, and we engage a lot with industry as well. So it's a big operation at the time. So look, welcome to Flinders. It's wonderful that you've chosen to come here. Some of you will be domestic students from South Australia. Some of you will be from other parts of Australia. Some of you will be from international students from all over the world. Some of you will be doing undergraduate, some of you will be doing postgraduate, some of you will be coming straight from school, and some of you will be doing it as mature age students. So there's a whole lot of different places that you're coming from, but the bottom line is that you're all here to start the study in the College of Business, Government and Law. And of course, the other bottom line is that this is a new phase of your life for all of you. So starting a new qualification, starting a new degree, starting a new career, these are really big decisions. And so this is an important moment, and it's an important point in your lives as you progress. And this is the start of something new, something big. There's a lot of new things that are going to be involved, and you're going to need to acquaint yourself with the university. And of course, it's a complicated time to be acquainting yourself with the university because the last couple of years with COVID, it's really changed things fast. And of course, the way in which we do higher education has already been changing a lot because of new technology and because of online delivery. But COVID has really accelerated all of that and presented all sorts of new challenges for us as educators and as researchers. And so we've had to rethink many of the ways in which we do things and many of the ways in which we work with students. And that's been difficult. It's been really tough. This has been a distressing time. It's been a difficult time. But I don't think we're ever going to go back to the old normal. The way things have changed, some of those changes will be embedded in the future. And so it does mean that the way in which you learn to be a student and the way in which you prepare yourself for your new career will be different from the way in which it's happened in earlier times. And that presents particular challenges. So look, just a couple of tips. First of all, whatever you do, take advantage of every opportunity that comes your way as you're coming on board. This is a kind of moment of re-socialisation, of preparing yourself for a new discipline, preparing yourself for a new career. And there are a lot of opportunities at the moment, so take advantage of every one of those opportunities. Make sure that you don't get behind. Start off strongly, and then you can kind of make sure that you build really strong foundations. I mean, it's sort of obvious, but it's easy to get distracted, and it's also easy to get a little bit scared when you're starting something new. So make sure you start strongly. And no less important, when you come into a new environment, it's kind of the moment that you're most open. It's the moment you're most open to new ways of thinking. It's the moment you're most open towards making new friends. And when you start at a new place, really, I can't stress strongly enough, meet as many people as you are able to. By meeting as many people as you're able to, you'll extend your networks, and so much learning occurs through peer learning. So much learning occurs through talking with other people, sharing ideas with other people, And that's how a lot of learning actually occurs. So meet lots of people, extend your social networks, make them as wide as possible, and that will stand you in really good stead as you go forward. So look, welcome to Flinders. All the very best. I look forward to being in touch with you throughout your degree, and enjoy this time of this. You know, when you start, it's always a little bit disorienting, but it's also really exciting. So make sure you concentrate on the exciting bit. All the best.
Welcome to Flinders University. My name's Janine Clark and I'm an enrolment course advisor. This is my colleague, this is Samantha Di Francesco, and she's an enrolment course advisor in the College of Business, Government and Law. Just a few points for your enrolment. If you need any help with general course advice, call Flinders Connect. You can contact them on 1300 354 633, or you can lodge an Ask Flinders request and they'll be happy to help you. 1 or 2 topics is classed as part-time, 3 or 4 topics is classed as full-time, which is a full-time study load. If you have a combined degree, please make sure that you find the combined degree course rules, because they are different to the standalone course rules. We don't want you taking topics that are not included in your combined degree. There are also study planners on the web pages that you can search for that will give you an overview of all your degree. Again, if you need any help or support, please contact Flinders Connect. To contact me or Samantha, please lodge an Ask Flinders request and we'll be happy to help you with more general and more course advice.
A lot of our degrees have both option topics and elective topics that you can take throughout your degree. If you are unsure about which elective topics you might want to take, we do have an elective advice webpage which do put different areas of study together, which might help you enhance skills across your degree. These can be different study areas such as innovation, communication skills, or any industry experience. We do also have option topics which are more specific to the degree that you are studying. For example, if you're studying a business degree, you will do business option topics, and that will help you study an area of business that is not specific to your specialisation or your major area. Throughout your business degree, you will also be given an opportunity to potentially undertake an industry placement. This will also be within the law and legal practice, international relations and political sciences degree. For further information, you might wish to speak to your course coordinator about those specific industry experiences. To find your course rule, you can go onto the university's handbook. On here, you can find all of the topics that are offered in each semester. It is probably best to also look at your study plan, because that will help you break down which topics you should be enrolling into and when these should be enrolled.
For your enrolment, first year topics, the code starts with a 1, second year topics start with a 2, third year topics start with a 3, and fourth year topics start with a 4. Sometimes students get confused, and when they're in their first year, they enrol into second or third year topics. We recommend that you enrol into first year topics that starts with a 1.
It is important to remember when you're enrolling that you enrol into 4 topics for each semester and no more than this in your first year. This is whether you're in a standalone degree or a combined degree. If you are enrolled in more than 4 topics, you may wish to contact Flinders Connect to see what the problem is with your enrolment. If you've received your offer and you've not yet accepted or been admitted into your course, the best way to start is probably by contacting Flinders Connect, because they can help you activate your Flinders system and help you to confirm and update your details and then enrol in your relevant topics. There are critical enrolment dates throughout your studies. The first one to look for is the last day to enrol. This is generally the second Friday of semester 1, so week 2. You can change your enrolment and your timetable up until this date. The next date that you may wish to look for is the census date. So if you remain enrolled past this date, this will go as part of your record. However, if you get up to this date and you decide to withdraw before or on the date, that won't be part of your record of study. Just to keep in mind, if you are enrolled past the census date, this is when you end up paying for the topic, and that will go to your help debt, or you may pay it up front if you are not a Commonwealth supported student. Along with paying for the topics, you also pay a student services and amenities fees, which goes to everything non-academic on campus. So that goes to things such as the library, the upkeep of the campus, and all of the amenities that you find and are able to use on campus. Please keep in mind that these are also the clubs, the health and counselling, and all other things you might be able to access online. So if you are an online student, you also are required to pay these fees. These, again, are different to your tuition fees, so you do need to submit a separate help form. So this might be something you may wish to contact Flinders Connect about if you are unsure how to submit this.
So for all you students, we have many services that are available to you. Please reach out and any member of staff will be happy to direct you to the right services that are available.
All of the help services on campus are free of charge to students, and this ranges from free health, counselling and disability support services, as well as our student learning support services, which is helping with academic support. These can be accessed through, again, Flinders Connect. They can point you in the right direction, but if you want more specific advice, you can reach out to the health and counselling and disability services directly, or again, the student learning support services.
So please reach out. You can reach out at any time of the semester. You don't have to, it doesn't have to be the start or near the end. Please reach out for support. If you're overwhelmed, lodge an Ask Flinders request. We'll be very happy to help you.
Okay, great. Okay, so some important information there. I know it's a lot to take in, but you'll obviously learn more about all of that as you go. Some important terminology as well that we call our classes topics. Some of the topic codes they mentioned won't be relevant for masters in the same way that they're relevant for undergraduate students, but certainly the advice about going to Ask Flinders or Flinders Connect when you have questions is very good advice and something you definitely want to know. So I acknowledge that we're here, at least all of us who are here in person on Bedford Park campus, on the traditional lands of the Kaurna people, and pay my respects to Kaurna elders past, present and emerging. And thanks very much for those who are joining us in the room, and also I can see that there are a number of participants online, so welcome to you as well. You can feel free to put your questions into the live Q&A function. I've already had a few questions that I was answering while the video was going, and I'll try to answer those as quickly as I can as they come up. So now we're just going to have a bit of an introduction to some of the academic staff who are part of what we call the government group, which includes studies in politics, policy and international relations. Unfortunately, Rodrigo couldn't be here today, but we'll start off with Professor Andrew Parkin, who is the course coordinator for the Bachelor of International Relations and Political Science, and then we'll go from there. Thanks, Andrew.
Thanks, Jessica. That's Jessica on the list here. In the room is Lewis Davinia. I think probably the best thing is I'll talk for a while, then maybe Lewis can come forward, because I'm here to represent the bachelor degree. So welcome to those online who are about to begin the Bachelor of International Relations and Political Science. We have some people in the room who are also doing a master's program, so we'll get to that shortly. So let me just talk briefly about the bachelor degree, and some of it will be relevant to students in general. So if you're enrolled in the bachelor degree, congratulations on choosing a degree. What you have on the screen here is our official set of course objectives, a grounding in political science, disciplines of international relations, politics and public policy, an understanding of Australia's political system, its place in the regional and global context, using analytical frameworks in international relations, and then importantly, some generic skills about academic and professional competencies. Let me put that into some sort of context. What does that actually mean? What are these disciplines all about? They're broadly about the engagement with and professional work in public affairs. If you think about all the things that are going on that governments need to do, that communities need to do, be at peace with each other, provide services, look after the vulnerable, ensure that our systems of communication and energy and education and health work properly, you're dealing with public affairs. They're run mainly by professionals who are trained in courses like this, or in more specialist courses, if you're in health policy, for example. International relations, is that done at this national level? Relationships between countries, between global networks. Politics is a broad term for the way in which we manage decision making and legitimacy and elections and choosing governments in that system, the competing views about what the goals should be. Public policy is about the substance of what governments do. Think health policy, education policy, climate policy, and the like. So this is, for the bachelor students, a program that will give you an insight into these generic skills and lead you into kind of the professional world from the global to the local, where there is increasing demand for people who can understand these issues, can find out information about them, can present policy options, can understand how to consult with communities and international partners, and work in that kind of sphere. So if you're, again, this is for the bachelor students, if you're studying full-time, that is 4 topics, and you're studying in second semester. Most of your colleague students would have studied in first semester, but the thing can be done in this staggered fashion. So there are 4 topics to do in your opening semester, which is the university second semester. A topic, Government 1001, Fundamentals of Public Policy. Government 1003, Revolutionary Ideas, Political and Economic. INO 1001, not actually taught by the government group, but one of the generic topics, Innovative and Creative Thinking. And 1 additional elective topic, which the previous video was about. You need to decide what to do there. There are other topics in the government group you might be able to do. Maybe a chance to study a language or some other discipline like history or whatever. So that would be a full-time enrolment for bachelor students starting in the second semester. I talked about possible career pathways for the bachelor students. This would apply also to the master's students who we have in the room. A list of the kind of government sector jobs, public sector jobs that might be around, of various job titles which can vary, to do with the understanding of information, the networking between political actors, the education sector, the foreign affairs and diplomatic sector, policy analysis in general, a whole range of things in the government sector, and frankly these days the big corporate sector, which has to understand, engage with the world, consult with the world, and make decisions and then carry them out. But in the non-profit sector, all sorts of ways in which the business sector, the community sector, the media sector also need graduates with that knowledge and set of skills in information, understanding, communication, development of options, that this kind of course is designed in 3 years' time, when you graduate successfully, to enter the workforce in such capacities. So that's the end of the spiel about the bachelor course. For the master's students online and in the room, there are a similar set of course objectives we can find on the web, maybe a more specialised set of target occupations and professions that come out of it, but the advice about enrolment information and about university services applies equally to the master's as well as to the bachelor courses.
Thanks, Andrew. And I just have a question online for you, Andrew, sorry. And I'll also, if there are any questions in the room, happy to take those as we go as well. But I just have a question online from Muthul Sandridge, who asks, is there a September or October intake for the Masters of Public Policy? Because he's currently offshore and waiting for his visa to be able to get here.
I hesitate to give precise advice on the record. But my understanding is if you're an on-campus student, there are 2 intakes. It's the beginning and the middle of the year, first semester, second semester. If you are a master's online student, I think my colleague Lewis can confirm this, there are in fact 4 intake periods. I won't hazard a guess of what the dates are, but spaced through the year, I think you can start on 1 of 4 occasions. So it's possible, if the inquirer is a master's fully online student, the answer is yes. For a definitive answer, go to the Ask Flinders online portal, and if you want to find that, go to the Flinders webpage, and in the information bar, type in Ask Flinders, and then go to, I think there's a tag called Initiate an Inquiry, and just ask the question. To any student, there's no such thing as a silly question. If you don't know, just formulate the question as best you can, put it in there, and magically, the 2 people you saw there before or their colleagues will respond to you with a definitive, accurate answer.
Thanks, Andrew. And I'll write that down as well for our person asking that question online. So now, Dr. Lewis De Vinha, would you please be happy to introduce yourself, say a bit about what you teach, the courses you teach into, and also coordinating the Masters of International Relations.
Well, thank you, everybody. I'm just going to talk to those. I'm going to look at the ones that are in the room. Hello to everyone else who's online. My name is Lewis De Vinha. As you can tell from the accent, I'm not Australian. I'm American and Portuguese, or Portuguese and an American, however you want. I coordinate the Master of International Relations, so a lot of you that are here in public policy, most likely you'll have courses or topics within the Masters of International Relations. Masters of International Relations is a relatively new program. We used to have a Master of Arts in International Relations, which is pretty much standalone, a very broad, generic sort of program. And what we've done over the last year and a half is sort of created a very, I think, streamlined and what I like to say the most policy, and I'm looking at you guys because you're from the policy area, most policy-oriented international relations masters in Australia. What that means is we have a host of core topics which are going to run across the international relations, the public policy, and the public administration. So there's 4 core topics that all of us have together. Then we're going to have disciplinary topics. So in international relations, there's 4 interdisciplinary topics where we essentially focus a lot on issues of security, emerging digital challenges, digital futures, etc. And then it's really highly integrated with the public policy and public administration. What that means is in the Masters of International Relations, you can have any topic as an elective of the public policy or public administration masters, and vice versa. Same thing with you guys. You're in public administration or public policy. You can have any of the topics of international relations. And in a nutshell, that's pretty much it. I look forward to seeing you guys over the next semester. I won't be teaching, but I am still the topic coordinator, and I'm usually in my office, and my door's usually open most of the time, so feel free to come on by.
Yeah. Thanks, Lewis. I'll just quickly check any questions in the room. There weren't any other specific to the course questions online, but feel free to indicate if anyone has questions. Otherwise, let me hand over to Marielle, because I know, Marielle, you actually need to jump into another orientation session as well, just to introduce our mentoring program here at the college. Thanks, Marielle.
Thank you. Hi, everyone in the room and online. So just quickly on mentoring. Basically, the way this works is that everyone who's in the college is allocated a mentor at the start of the semester, but it really is an opt-in program. So we'll run sessions for about half an hour once a week, both in person and online. Totally up to you if you attend, but we basically will give you tips for the point in the semester that you're at. So whether that's coming into exams or halfway through when you're feeling like you're just loaded down with assignments and you can't get through it. But we also are senior students, so we've been at the university for quite a while. I've been here for 6 years now, so we're really familiar with the uni as well. We can give you the best places to eat, the best places to study. We're really great wealths of information, so I do encourage you to use the mentoring sessions. You can also contact us via email at any point that you like. We're always available to chat. So yes, it's really simple. You'll hear from us. You don't need to do anything in regards to mentoring. We'll get in touch with you. And yeah, that's really about it. You can lean on your mentor for anything. And if there's a question that you have and you don't know where to go for an answer, the best place to start is a mentor, and we can kind of further your query on to the next person.
Perfect. Thanks, Marielle. Does anyone have any questions for Marielle? You can just
Absolutely. So for people online, that question was whether the mentoring program is available for master's students as well, and it certainly is. So master's students will be included in that. I don't know whether we have a current master's student or past master's student who is mentoring, but we'll certainly be able to pop you in touch with master's students as well so that you have a bit of support in that discipline too.
I mean, I can imagine also that some of the advice that you might have might be just as relevant to master's students if it's more about generally Flinders University procedures and, you know, where to go to find out information, etc. So that could be useful as well. Okay, well, thanks very much. Appreciate you being here today, Marielle. And we, unfortunately, our Student Association President, John Kelly, couldn't be here in person today because he's participating in Youth Parliament, but we do have a government student association that is called PIRA, Lewis, help me out, Politics International Relations Association. The Politics and International Relations Association, PIRA, is the acronym, and they run events, social events. They also run, you know, seminars, information type events around world politics or international relations, other types of things that might be of interest to students. So John is actually online and he has popped information into the live Q&A about how best to get in touch with PIRA, but basically it's via Facebook is where they post information about all of their events. So if you go into Facebook and search for PIRA or Government Student Association, they'll come up. You'll see they have like a nice lion logo, and you can follow them there to find out about their events or be in touch with John. He's super approachable and a very nice person. So, okay, so in terms of, I think in terms of content, I don't know if there's anything further we want to say about our courses or programs, or we're happy to take questions from everyone or give some general guidance, tips, advice about starting out at university. We still have about 10 minutes left for more general open discussion. I don't know if you want to both come up to the front so that we're all kind of facing the people online as well. And if no one has specific questions, we're happy to just give some general advice and guidance about starting out at university. But if people have specific questions online or in the room, we can answer those as well. So, any questions? Lewis, did you want to start off with something about your top guidance, what you've seen, you know, what helps students to succeed starting out at university? Do the readings.
Do the readings. Yeah, there's a lot of things we could do. I would just say this, and I apologize. I do a lot of sports analogies. And I always say, especially for undergraduate, master's students sort of have some more experience in this area, and I'll talk a little bit to the master's students. But for the undergraduates, I would say, especially those that are coming in recently from K through 12, the game is the same, right? I always say it's like going in from the NCAA to the NFL. You know, you could be great in the NCAA, you could be a great player, play the game very well, and then you make it to the NFL, which is the professionals, and you're not great, right? Or you're less great. The game is still the same, the rules are the same, but it is a little bit different. And that's what I would say for, especially for those that are coming into the bachelor's program. It's education, it's about reading, it's about writing, it's about thinking, but there's a greater demand, and we have to step up to that. And with that, I would sort of segue into the master's program, understanding that this is a step above. And we know we got to put in the work. And I think from experience, everybody that's willing to put in the work is successful. And I think, not just here, but I'm going to just speak for us here in the classroom. One of the things that I really like about our department, and we're not a department per se, that's not how we're organized, but we're available. And I think that's quite different than accessible. And what that means is, contrary to me when I was a student 30 years ago, no doors were open. My professors, you know, they were nice people, but they didn't want to see me outside of the classroom. They had better things to do. You know, if I had a question, they would say, "Don't you know how to read the book?" And I think that's quite different. And I think it's, we do have an environment where we create the conditions for those students that need help, that need assistance, not just academic, but want to talk to us, you know, want to build relationships. We are here, so we are available. So please take advantage of that.
Given who we have in the room and possibly online too, something about international student body.
It seems like
Yeah.
online, from what I'm seeing in the questions, there are actually quite a few master's students and
Good.
potentially international students as well.
We have in the room people from Philippines, Vietnam, Bangladesh, if I'm right. And welcome to you and welcome to your colleagues online. You're coming to a university that is prides itself on its international profile, on its international student composition, and we have graduates from the university, bachelor and masters and doctoral graduates working all around the world. There's a big alumni network, and we all appreciate that the diversity of backgrounds that you come from. It's important for domestic Australian students to understand the cross-cultural and international dimensions of things they deal with, and important for international students also to have that experience. I happen to teach mostly in the public policy program, so I'll be seeing you people almost certainly in class, and I teach public policy topics for the bachelor as well. So Lewis was international relations, I'm more public policy. Jessica's international relations. We're all kind of politics too. The study of elections and parties and voting and interest groups and so on. But we try and do that in a cross-disciplinary way so that we all have exposure to that range of approaches. And always focused on this is interesting and important and fun, but also has a professional goal in mind. That we think we've succeeded if you've learned a lot, enjoyed yourself, upskilled yourself, and then move on to the kind of professional future that you see for yourself.
Yep. And any questions, or we want to make it relevant to, obviously, if you have any specific things you'd like to know more about. But I realised that I also neglected to properly introduce myself. I said my name at the beginning, but not so much about what I do and what I teach. So yeah, I teach mostly into the international relations and politics side of what we do. And I teach mostly into the bachelor's degree, so into the undergraduate program. And I do tend to teach first year students. So if there are those of you online who are just starting out in the bachelor's degree, you're very likely to see me around, if not this semester, then next year. And I also wanted to had another thought in my mind that disappeared as I was talking. I think, I was going to just ask Andrew and Lewis, given that we do have students in the room who I think all of you are starting out in the Masters of Public Policy, if I'm not mistaken. So could you say a little bit more about what students could expect from the first semester of study that they're about to undertake, and also about, this is what I was going to say, just come back to me. Another thing that I would encourage you, both as master's students but also as undergraduate students, if there are undergraduate students online, is also pay attention to the specific and unique opportunities that we offer. So for undergraduate students, for example, which is the program that I teach into, I know that we have a lot of opportunities around placements, industry engagement, etc., that are really valuable and interesting, but a lot of them are option topics or elective topics. So just be aware, like we have a general placement topic, we also have a Washington internship where students actually go to the United States and work with a member of Congress. Not sure why the screen has gone dark there, but it still seems to be fine online. And then we also have the South Australian Parliamentary Internship that Andrew actually convenes, that one, where students have an opportunity to engage with a local member of parliament here in South Australia. So those are pretty interesting and valuable opportunities, just to be aware of that and to look out for those as you go through your degree. And perhaps one of you would like to talk about, I think we do actually have some placement or workplace experience opportunities also for master's students. I don't know if either of you can talk to that. I'm not as involved in the master's program.
All right. One of the recent things, like from my experiences, most of the students who are in the master's programs are already usually employed in public administration. That's just sort of most of the students, I'm imagining the ones that are here, that's the case, right? But we do have some. One I'd probably highlight, because it's very recent, is we have now, starting next semester, the Master of International Relations, not yet the Public Policy and Public Administration Masters, but we have a work integrated learning program that's called Hacking for National Security. So essentially what it is it's integrated with the MBA in business. So essentially what that means is we have a few outside partners, for example, Ministry of Defense, let's say, or something like that, who has a problem and presents groups with problems. And over the semester, essentially what they do is these interdisciplinary groups, people from IR, people from business, people from other, sometimes engineering, et cetera, come together to try to address that problem. And Hacking for National Security, I think we're only one of the two universities in Australia that does it. And I'm pretty excited about that because it's an interesting opportunity for students to have the opportunity to work with real issues provided by, in this case, the private sector or the public sector, but industry in general.
In response to Jess's question about what you might expect when you start, I guess I can give a formal and informal answer. The formal answer is make sure you know where to go. If you're an on-campus student, you're enrolled in, if you're full-time, 4 topics. If you don't know what they are, then seek advice. Ask Flinders portal. And then they are located physically in a room like the one we're in today, with a class which for a undergraduate could be several hundred students. For masters it could be from a dozen to 30 or 40. And you'll have typically a topic coordinator, could be one of us. And there's a curriculum, and that curriculum is normally represented through an online presence in something we haven't mentioned, which is Flinders Learning Online, acronym FLO, nickname Flow. Flow is the, in a sense, the portal into the curriculum, both online and on campus, and blended situations, which is your week-by-week introduction to the content, to the various activities that students are expected to do, to the assessment items you do, and it takes you from week 1 to week 12 or 13 in your topic. So informally, you'll be meeting people like us in the room and those online. A range of students who are as excited and confused as you are. That's normal. And also eager to learn. And some of those informal contacts you have with fellow students can also be educative. And as teachers, I think all of us try and draw on the knowledge and experience in the classroom, because you've done things and come from places and been places which we haven't, and we'll always try and illustrate general principles and generic concepts with examples that you can tell us about. That reminds me of a certain initiative in Vietnam, or reminds me of a problem we have in Bangladesh. And in that way we can apply what will be our generic experience and strengths to the particular interests and backgrounds that you have.
Yep, and I see that Rob Manwaring, who is the course coordinator for our undergraduate degree, and he's actually online with our online participants. So hi there, Rob. And he has put a link in the online Q&A function to the placement topic for master's students. So as I said, topics is what we call classes. So there is a specific placement class for master's students, as Lewis was talking about that as well. So definitely look up those opportunities if you're interested. And I guess another question that we often get, no one's really raised it today, which is maybe indicative of, you know, how the environment is changing, is around COVID-19 and online learning, and what happens if there's, you know, let's hope not, but what happens if there is some kind of new strain or a new outbreak? I mean, we're actually very fortunate to have international students here in Australia in the room able to get onshore, because as I'm sure probably most of you know, that's been quite difficult for the last couple of years. And I guess I would just want to reassure everyone and let you know that Flinders understands that number one, students' safety and health is our number one priority. So if we need to, we will switch things to online. However, we also understand that for most students, it's really important to have an in-person experience. So wherever we can do that in a way that is safe for students and that takes into account your own health and well-being, we will try to offer that in-person experience. Now, we know that at some stage during the semester, hopefully not, but it's happened with my students. Basically, it seems like non-stop during this semester, at least one student has been tested positive for COVID-19 at any one time. So, of course, we also take that into account, and we'll either offer some kind of alternative way to participate, or you might be able to come into the class online, even if it is an in-person class. So just rest assured that we're very aware that that's the environment and the context in which we're operating at the moment, and we certainly accommodate students, if needed, and just communicate with us and let us know. So if you do have COVID, let us know so that we know why you're not turning up to class, and we can give you an alternative that is going to be suitable for you. I don't know if either of you want to add anything to that or anything else. We have about 3 minutes left before we will cut out of the live stream. So if you have any final words.
So just to take off, the person you would contact immediately would be your topic coordinator. If I'm your topic coordinator, you email me and let me know. And that's true of anything particular to do with each topic you're in, the content, the curriculum, the assessment items. The topic coordinator is your first point of inquiry. If it's more general about my enrolment, can I go from full-time to part-time? What should I do next semester? That's when you deal with the two experts we saw on screen. You go to the Ask Flinders portal and ask an administrative question.
Yeah, so I'll just wrap it up. I mean, we just have 2 minutes left. So thanks very much for coming. Those of you who are here in the room, thanks for joining us online. Those who are online, thanks for your questions. I've tried to answer all of the questions that have come up online, but obviously if you have other questions that come up afterwards, I think we're all quite approachable. As Lewis said, his door is always open. My door might not be open, but you're welcome to knock and come in and ask me a question or send me an email, etc. And yeah, we look forward to seeing you in your classes. I think one important thing to take away that we've emphasised many times during this session is that Flinders does have this amazing portal called Ask Flinders, and it might seem a bit strange at the beginning because you put in a question and it kind of just flies off into cyberspace and you wonder, like, will I ever get a reply? But then a couple of days later, you will get a reply from the exact correct person who needed to address that request in the specific team, which is actually quite handy because often you don't know exactly to whom to direct your request. So I just want to emphasize that, as if there's one thing you take away from this session, it should be that we call classes topics. You will need to get onto Flow, which is our online learning platform, as Andrew mentioned, FLO, and also that for any inquiry that you have, you can always pop in and ask Flinders request, and then you will get a response back to that. So thanks for joining us today. We all wish you well on the journey of your studies, and no doubt we will get to know you better during your time at Flinders and look forward to seeing you all around. Thanks. Thank you. Okay, no worries. We're still on the live stream for 1 more minute, but feel free to pop in any final questions if you have them online, but I know we will cut out in exactly 1 minute time. Thanks for joining us.